Yeah. Okay, we're going to start with something very basic, but very important. Iris. So everyone keeps the microphones up and running. Yeah. Because this can be questions for everyone. The one that doesn't know can be helped by um, another one. Voice ranges, Iris. For example, voice range. Soprano. What is it, the range of the soprano? Start remembering. And don't peek and cheat. Hello.
Mostrar.
Hello. There you go.
Yo?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. So that was from middle C to high F.
Middle C, which is the number of the middle C?
The 4.
4. Very good. C4, C4. And until?
And okay, and then until F5.
Okay. Yes. It's
Okay.
it can be C, it can be D. Yes, D to F. Yeah, D4 to F5 is a typical one. Yes, and then you have, because the C is considered to be a little bit more extreme. Yes, quite low. Now, that's the range, and the extreme range with soprano, she can go a little bit further.
Okay, then
A
I will
little bit.
stay until the A5.
Yes, A5. There you go. Okay.
Like this string. Okay.
Very good. Perfect. Very good. You know exactly what a soprano would sound like. Yeah. And the most comfortable range for the soprano is the range that the soprano is not very low, not very high. Um, the most comfortable range. That when you can ask everything for a soprano. To sing pianissimo, fortissimo, yes, everything.
That would be from D4 to D5. No, I'm not. Yeah, there. I remember what.
No, no. D, no. Anyone? Ah, no, Georgios, remember? Georgios.
I'm going to say G4 to C5.
Yes, exactly. Anna, which is the range of the bass?
Oh, from the bass.
The whole range, the whole range. First of all, we're going to see because remember we have three types of ranges. Yes, but not three types of ranges, but we have the range. Yes, the range. The extreme range. So the some notes usually that is from the range that established one. That they go 1, 2 notes higher or 1, 2 notes lower. Yes. So we can ask, let's say, the singer to go a little bit, sometimes like an exception, well, go a little bit, yes, lower. Those notes are not notes that, we're going to stress a lot. Yes, it's just for harmonic purposes. Let's say we need a very low, whatever, no, C, let's say. Yeah. For the soprano, let's say. So, well, let's put it there. The soprano won't shine there. Yes. But we need it because maybe we have parallel fifths or parallel octaves. We need that, yeah, that person to sing that note. Yes. And then we have the most comfortable range. That is a range of a fourth. But each voice varies. Remember anything about the bass?
Oh, I don't remember. I can try, but I really don't remember. Dios santo. Oh, God. F.
F.
Ah, es un F, qué bien. From
F.
F. 2.
2. Yes.
Vale, bien, no está mal. 2, a ver.
F2.
E3.
E3.
G.
G3. You said G3.
Yes.
Too low.
Mierda.
It's a little low. The bass actually has a very, very, very extended range. Yes.
Oh.
It is. Do you remember the lowest was okay.
I think it was until the B3. And from,
I would say extreme would be from E to from F to the C. Or
Wait. The extreme, we're not talking about string now.
Normal.
We're talking about just the range, just the normal range of the bass. F2.
not the middle C to the A. 3.
No, actually, it's the middle C.
Middle C.
Can he sing higher than the middle C?
Sorry?
Can he sing higher than the middle
Yeah,
C?
it can be a little bit higher, yes.
Oh, great.
But, yes. It's extreme. Can sing a D. But it's too high. Yes. Remember that in general, the voices, the male voices can go higher, as we call falsetto. Yeah. And the female voices can go lower. Yeah. If you're a female singer, you can go. When I say falsetto, it's not the true voice. Yeah. You can go lower, very low, but you cannot project that voice. That sound doesn't have any projection, any strength. So the bass can go, yes, higher, but they're not going to shine in that note. Yes. Be careful with that. Yes, they can sing D. Even they can sing an E. Now, it's not going to have any color. Yeah. Good. And then comfortable range of the bass. Remember?
F2 to C3.
The comfortable range is never the lowest or the highest. It's always C3 was okay.
so from
C3.
G2?
Sorry?
From G2?
No.
No? Okay.
Not G2. No. Do you remember Georgios?
C3 to F3.
Yes. Exactly. That's four. Yeah. It's the only one. Yeah. Exactly. And Georgios, alto.
Not this one.
I don't know. I'm an alto. I know my range. It depends.
I tell you tenor, which is 1 octave lower than soprano.
I was not going to ask anyone the tenor because it's exactly as the soprano. 1 octave lower. Thank you for telling me. Yes, it's true. That's why I didn't ask.
Alto.
Alto.
The lowest the alto can sing. Oh.
It depends on the alto. There's some altos that can go very low.
I'm going to say this is not a help.
I don't know if you have perfect pitch, really helps. If the
A.
A.
Three.
No.
It's not. A3 to A3, yeah?
A3, yeah.
To C,
C,
5.
C5, yes. Very good, listen.
Oh, did it.
Whoosh! Now, extreme ranges.
Okay.
You can go lower to which note?
And not more than G.
No more than G, yes. I mean, you could go lower, but the falsetto is just air. Yeah, for an alto.
From C to...
Sorry?
To C to D.
D, yes. Actually, you could go to an E. I would not recommend. Yes. D, I think, is quite safe. Yeah. As an alto, I can tell you, don't go. Don't go. D. It's okay. Comfortable range.
Right.
That's a logic.
Gisela, I have a question. You
Yes.
said the extreme range is from C3 to D3.
The extreme, from which voice?
Alto.
Alto is A3
Oh.
to C5.
Ah, vale.
Exactly.
C5. And the extreme?
The extreme you have G3, so just one more. Yes? That's it. And then D5.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, the book says D5, E5. Yes? That's because actually in most of the choirs, they're not true altos. They're mezzo-sopranos that sing as altos. So the mezzo-soprano can go to an E. Yes? Even to an F. If they're good, of course. Yes. That's why. Yes. But if you're an alto, C is already high. Yeah, it's already a high note. Yeah, because you can go G, F, E, D, C. That's my falsetto. I can go to a baritone, but you see that it's just there. It's not projection. That's not my real voice. Yeah. But high, I start screaming. Ah!
I see.
No. So, comfortable range. Here you go.
Remember, but I have to use logic.
Logic.
And
Pure logic.
D to G.
Exactly. Why did... Yes. Why did you use that logic? Let me see. Let me see if I...
Well, first of all, it's always a fourth.
Yes, good. It's always a
now, comparing to the other ones, it couldn't be so low as to CF, because it would be only a third. Now, it was in no case F to be flat, because I remember there are no flats or sharps in the comfortable ranges. So either B to A, E to A, or D to G. Now, I played my dice. B to G.
The knowledge was there at some point. Well, but yes, if you do not, at least you have some logical things, yes, to follow. Fantastic, very good. Now, that is the rules of spacing. Now, do we cross the voices? And what is a crossing of the voice, first of all?
Crossing of the...
Anna, yes.
Is when each voice has its own individual melodic direction, and it's when, for example, soprano goes whoop within the range of the mezzo, for example, of the alto, and then the alto goes whoop to the range of the soprano, and they cross. I did this in a homework, and you said no, so I'm pretty sure it's no.
Exactly, no. Yes, you're right. Vale. No, don't do that.
Okay.
Very good. Each voice has its own range. Yes, exactly. I'm not saying the total range, but the spacing. Yes, the spacing. One of the things is the range of the voices. The other is the spacing. Yes, within the chord. So they, like Anna said, don't cross unless unless you want an effect, which in that case, if you can say exactly why are you doing it, and in what place of the piece you want to do it, but as an effect. So very good. So now we don't do it, and then it's exactly what Anna said. Now, inversions within triads. Yes, because we haven't seen the sevens. Inversions. First of all, how many inversions do we have? Yes, good.
Two inversions in third position.
Very good. The figured base of the first inversion. Good.
6-3 or 6.
6 is the old one, now the 6. And then it is the figured base of the second inversion.
That's the fifth
Right?
of the chord, right?
Yeah, the figured base of the number. Of the
Okay.
Six.
So that's the fifth. Wait, I'm not sure what are we asking.
When you have, for example, when you have to write in Roman numerals,
sorry.
tonic.
6-4.
There you go, 6-4. Very good one. Why 6-4? Why do we put 6-4?
It's because of the intervals
Very good.
between the.
Very good. And now, while I'm talking to you, what's the difference between the bass and the tonic? And the root, sorry. What's the difference in a chord between the bass and the root?
The root is.
Let me see, Anna.
The bass can be any note. It doesn't have to be the root always, because the chord can be inverted. So the bass is referred to the structure of the chord, and the root is more referred to the harmony of the chord, no? Because the root can be somewhere else, or no?
Okay, it goes.
A little bit.
Okay, the bass can be any note of the chord.
Okay.
It can be the root, the third, or the fifth. Yes, and that gives us an inversion. If the third is on the bass, it is. Which inversion do we have?
The first inversion.
Yes, good. The fifth is on the bass.
Second.
There you go, good. Fantastic. Now, if the root is on the bass, what do we have?
Root position.
There you go. Now, so the bass as a definition, what is the bass note? It sounds silly, but just it's better to have clarity. This turns very, very clear.
The bass is any note of the chord that can or cannot be in root position.
I think it's simpler than that. The bass note. Any note of the chord that is what? Where? The soprano.
Hang on the lowest voice.
The lowest voice. And also very good, Georgios, because he said the lowest voice.
Not the bass.
Exactly. Maybe it's not the bass. Maybe it's the tenor. Maybe the bass is not singing. Maybe at some points you said bass don't sing. You have three voices. You don't double, but the tenor is the bass. Okay? Very good, Georgios. Yeah? Very good. And now, next. What is the function of the first inversion in a composition? Think from what is the function? Harmonic, and try to relate to harmony, yes, as well, of a First, I say first inversion. I didn't say second inversion. I just said first inversion. In a
Perhaps.
composition. I mean, why as composer, why would you choose a first inversion rather than a reposition?
When we are composing a 4-part thingy chorale, it makes sure it's like a smooth stepwise steps of the bass note sometimes to avoid.
Wait, I lost you with because the connection. So you were saying that to create a smoother line on the bass, which is correct.
Yes, in steps.
In steps, or just a smoother line because maybe it's by thirds. Yes, fantastic. Good. And then I lost you. Sorry, I couldn't hear it.
That's it. Just I repeated.
Okay, you repeated it. Yes, good. So that's one reason. To create a smoother line on the bass, generally to create a counter melody. Yes, as Schonberg said in his book as well. Good. That's one reason. Yes, very good. Any other reason? Good.
I mean,
it is.
No, I mean, I was just thinking as a passing chord, like, but it's more or less the same that Anna was saying, but it's related. So
the passing chord. Why would you put a passing chord? Good.
To weaken a chord, not to give it so much importance, give importance elsewhere. In the same way, in the same logic, I would say also to give variation, to give a different color, some chords.
Very good. Exactly there. Yes. Exactly.
And sometimes the last thing I would say, maybe not so important, but sometimes to avoid the parallel movement, parallel fifth shape.
That's very useful as well.
I find it useful.
It's very useful, yes. I mean, it's not very creative. Maybe it's not, you know, it's the best moment in a creation process, but it saves a lot of things. Yes. And then why is the reason, I mean, let me see if anyone can give me the reason why. Because you say to weaken a chord, that's fine. But why is the reason that the first inversion is weaker than another chord that is in reposition? If that's the reason why. That's fine. But why? Yes.
Because I'm going to describe it.
Describe it. Someone. Describe away.
Fewer enharmonics match those of the bass to the other voices, and some class even some, but it's mostly okay on the first inversion. Yes.
When you say class, can you?
And maybe there is a first of, for example, the fifth of E. Now here on the, let's say C major, E on the bass. The fifth of the E on the bass, also here strongly, might clash with the C on top, for example. There's a minor second there. So that's what I meant.
Okay. So in a nutshell, the root position follows the same order of the overtones, and so in that manner reinforces the euphony of the chord. Yes. And then conversely, the first inversion doesn't. Doesn't work.
Yes.
Good. Very good. Very good. Now, so you were going to use the first inversion chords to create some variation to avoid parallel fifths and octaves. That's a practical reason why, yes. That's fantastic. To create passing chords, yes, very good. As Anna said, to create a counter melody on the bass, yes, or smoother passages, that's also correct. Just saying, just to create, to draw some parallelisms, yes. First chapter of the K playing. I know we're not doing Caitlin, but just in case. Chapter number 1, Caitlin. Harmonic progressions. Yes, you have 3. Yes, yours. Where would you use a inverted chord? Yes. No, you can say them as well. Come on.
Prolongation, cadence, cadential, and sequential.
Sequential. There you go. So where would you use, or what is a classical example?
I imagine I would use in all of them, but I imagine you mean the prolongation.
Structurally, exactly. Structurally, we're using the prolongation because we put the hierarchy, yes, a greater hierarchy in the root position of the tonic. In the case of the tonic prolongation. Yeah, good. Okay, very good. Second inversion. Second inversion. Now, let's see. Is. Where is it? Take. What's the difference between a first inversion and a second inversion? What's the deal, let's say, with the second inversion? I mean, each one has one characteristic, and the second inversion has a very special situation.
Okay. So second inversion, it is very unstable, right? So
very good. It's very unstable. Needs resolution. Needs an immediate resolution. Good. Do you remember why?
Not exactly. I kind of have it, but
try to explain.
I don't know how to explain.
Try to explain a little bit.
Okay. So
what makes the second inversion unique?
I got confused.
It's unstable. Very good. It's unstable. Where would you use it? Where would you use it? Let me see.
I would use it. Okay, I would use it at the end of a phrase to make a cadence, for example.
So you use it in. Remember the 3 main progressions: prolongational, sequential, cadential. Where would you use it?
I would use it on the cadential.
Cadential. Where exactly?
On the last.
Before a chord, after a chord, in which metric position, and a strong metric position, a weak metric position, where will you use it? On the last chord? Would you resolve there?
No, I would use on the.
There you go.
No, I would use it on the. Just before. I would use it just before the dominant chord.
Before the dominant chord, yes. But there's a reason why.
It's
a very special name.
No. I would use it as.
No, it's okay. Before the dominant chord, fine. Good. Okay. Strong metric position, weak metric position, where?
I understand. I would use it on the strong
metric position. Very good. And there's an ornament that we always use. Yes, a no harmonic note. Yeah, no harmonic note. Yes, you're good.
Can I say the answer?
Yes.
Appoggiatura.
Yes, appoggiatura. The appoggiatura, we always use it in the strong metric position and resolves, yes, the harmonic, in this case, the real chord. On the weak. Yes, you're good.
Can I be very picky?
Yes, all the pickiness.
So it is true. We use 164 on the cadence. True. However, Kaplan himself wouldn't say so, for he never uses 164 in the cadence. He uses 5, even like an appoggiatura. He doesn't even consider that. He uses 164 chords in the prolongation, that's when it structurally appears, I would say, because that's what they do. They are ornament. They prolong.
So when they, sorry, when you say ornament, it's because they lose what? If is there a purpose of prolongation or cadential, what happened with those chords?
They become the other chord. They're slaves to the other chord.
Exactly. But why is that? Very simple. Harmonic. I mean, try to relate this to harmonic principle. Well, it's true what you're saying. Everything is perfect. What you're saying, everything's perfect. They lose their function. They become slaves to the other chord because even Kipling, as you very well said, doesn't even put 164. Just put 5. He puts 5 under the. Let's say you have a tonic in 164 in the strong position. He doesn't even put 1. Right, Giorgios?
Yes.
What does he put? 5 what?
5 with a 6/4, then 5/3.
Exactly, 5/6/4. Exactly. He considers that chord not even a tonic. Considers, so it loses its function.
Afterwards.
Why?
Again, the enharmonics. We have the 5th on the bass. It sounds like we hear the whole chord of the 5th.
Yes, because we relate what is on the bass. Yes, is more powerful when you put a note on the bass. Yes, the root, the third, the fifth. Yes, so but whatever you put on the bass, you're going to automatically relate that, yes, as a more important note, because everything that is on the bass, according to the overtone series, we tend to relate it as a root. Yes, so that's why it destabilizes the chord. It makes it lose its function and becomes, as you said, the slave of the next one, which is in root position. That's why the 1/6/4/5 is considered 1/6/4 as an appoggiatura, as an ornament. It loses its function. Clearer it is.
A little bit more, yes.
Very good, fantastic. Yes, you have to consider that, and that's why yes, they are also used as passing. Yes, in the actually one of the cases in the prolongation of harmonies in chapter 1 is 1/5/6/4. Yes, the passing chord 1/6. So 1/5/6/4. If you're in C major, you have C on the bass, D on the bass, E on the bass, C, D, E.
Yes.
Yes. So, as you said, it's just a passing. It's a slave like of the. It's not a true dominant. Very good. Fantastic. Very well done. Now, 7th chord.
New material.
7th chord. With its preparation.
With the 7th. The 7th chord.
No. The 7th chord. The 7th. This. Anna, which are the 2 preparations of the 7th chord? Which are the 2 chords that prepare the 7th chord?
The 3? No?
No, the 3 is a resolution.
No, I'm sorry. Este tema is so bad for me.
That's why we're revisioning. that's why we're doing a revision today. Yeah. Which are the 2 chords that prepares the 7th chord?
In the 2nd and the 4th.
Yes, right? Very good. Amazing.
They share the notes.
Very good. When you use the 4th, this is a little bit more picky, but let's see if you know. Schonberg says preparation by which interval? I see your finger.
Preparation.
Let her think.
Okay, it's preparation by the No, I have in mind preparation by the second and the fourth, but those are the grades. So it's the notes.
Okay, okay. Georgios, you remember?
Eighth.
Eighth. It's an octave, yes?
I see.
I always give the examples in C major, okay? So if the seventh, yes, is BDF, yes, 50 minutes. And the note that we have to prepare is, yes,
F.
F, the diminished, which is the F, and the fourth is F major, FF is the octave. That's why preparation by the octave. And Georgios. And in the case of the D minor? Yeah, the F. Because between the D and the F we have contact. What happens? It is what that F, that holy F. What do you have to do?
You have to resolve.
Downward or upward?
Down.
To which note?
Down.
I mean, that note is, the what of which chord?
That note, the F, you mean, right? It's the...
So the diminished, the diminished fifth, yes, of the seventh, resolves down, a semitone down. To which note? To which chord?
Okay. To the E, and we would be resolving on the third. So in this case, that would be the E minor chord.
So is, as a general principle, is the root of the median. Right? Oh no. Correct?
F is the root of the median.
No, F is not the root. Oh, whoa.
Yo quiero entendido, sorry.
Backward, rewind. No.
Yes, please.
The seventh degree, yes. Let's see, Georgios, explain.
So the seventh degree, it's diminished fifth. The F has to resolve downwards to E, and E is the root of the median, the chord to which we are resolving.
Or the third. Always, Anna, we're giving the example in C major. That's why we're talking about F going to E, because the example is in C major.
Claro, de la mediante. Got it.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah. Fantastic. Very good. Yes. Now, the seventh itself. What's the best doubling that we can do for that lovely seventh degree that we have there? Which note should we double? Georgios.
The third.
Exactly. Why? But follow our logic. Look, you have the BDF in C major, which is B is a leading tone.
Yes.
This is supertonic. Doesn't do much. F is the diminished.
Well, you're saying that. I know that. I know.
That's why I follow the logic, and you will respond. Come on, follow the logic.
I mean, we cannot double the leading note. Now,
you cannot double the leading note because it leads to the tone. It has a very strong, yes.
Now, sometimes I wonder, I know we cannot double the diminished fifth. We cannot. But if we did, and one went down, one went up, would that be so bad? Would be so bad?
It depends on this. We're going to see it in counterpoint. Yes, in harmony, the rules are. People in general say that counterpoint has very strict rules. Actually, they don't. Yes, but it has strict rules. But the only thing that would save, yes, what you're saying, is a good melodic line. So that's why in harmony it's forbidden, because they're not thinking melodic lines. They're thinking structurally. Yeah. Now, if you have four voices, and those four voices are, let's say, in a unitation, canonic, yes, and then yes, one voice goes there, but we're talking about something that is ornamental, not structural, because harmony is structural. That's why it's forbidden. Yes, structurally you wouldn't go. Yes, melodically, yes, you would. If you have to, I mean, you have a melodic line that serves a purpose within the composition, yes, you would. Yeah, that's why. Imagine harmony as a big pillar, as one bar or just two beats, yes, and that each note, the leading voice going to the tonic, yes, it has a function, yes, that I structure within the piece. That's why I insist so much in seeing something that is structured, something that is ornamental, yes. I say ornamental is not that it's not important, yes, everything's important. But don't get confused because we say, well, if you one voice goes, you want the other voice goes, what will happen? Remember that when we were studying the chapter of parallel and parallel octaves, yes, what's Schonberg says something about the doubling of the voices, for example. It's very useful to know. Remember earlier?
What the W?
Yes.
No.
That when he was saying something about the parallel, that if one voice has to go from one place to the other one, in this case, for example, let's take F to E in the seventh and the third, and if already goes to the F to A, yeah.
I'm trying to follow you. Yes.
It's related to the parallel octaves.
I mean, if both of the Fs have to go to the E,
Yes, exactly.
then better omit one.
Better omit, and then if the other one, I mean, if one voice, yes, I mean, we are going to omit, yes, the parallelism, but goes to someplace else, it better be for a very structurally good reason. Let's say that from the Schenkerian analysis, that note is in a huge step progression, yes, and you really, really, really need that voice to go to that place. Yes, yes, you can, but not by out of a whim, let's say. Yeah, fantastic. So I will give this revision, yes, to come to a smooth